Hello and welcome to this beautiful video about your higher self. We will be diving into the Akashic Records today, which is an infinite database about the universal energies and knowledge that are held in the present now moment. The Akashic Records holds all information about the past, present, and future in the universe. So it's wild and it has the answers for literally everything. I wanted to dive in and ask about the higher self. This is a term that gets thrown around all the time, but what is it? What is our higher self? How can we communicate with them? What do they hold? Why did they send us to Earth? What is it and why? I will be diving into the Akashic Records to answer some questions that I have written out about your higher self. I sat with the Akashic Records before this, and these are the questions that kind of came through that would benefit the collective community that watches this video. If you're new here, I'm Marissa. I'm a trance channeler and a keeper of the Akashic Records. I give Akashic Records readings and I am creating videos now. So I hope that you enjoy this. I usually keep my eyes closed when I channel because it's easier for me to get everything in. I use my clairs paired with the ability to trance channel. So enjoy this and let's dive in. I'm gonna breathe a little bit and ground my energy before asking the first question. Okay. First question I'm going to ask is, what is your higher self? So, your higher self is the soul that sits above you. It's the soul that has brought you into your current incarnation. It ripples down, and therefore you have many higher selves. You have the higher self that is the fragment of source light. This is the highest self. This is your soul energy, your specific light codes that are from source, that source took from itself and put outside of itself. I hope that makes sense. I'm seeing like source and then it's a fragment, and that is your highest self. It's the codes that define you as a soul down to the very essence of your soul. From there, it fractalizes further. And you have many lives from that soul source. And each life ripples down from the other. And so you can say that your higher self in this incarnation is that from which you came from. But your highest self is always that soul fractal from source. Okay, interesting. Let's see. In what ways do our higher selves present to us? In your physical reality, they can present as anything. Most likely they come in forms of signs, as you would call, or in forms of synchronicities, through your clairs, and through specifically visual elements in the physical realm. They don't often come in as fully who they are, self-presenting, because they don't always have physical form. but they show up into you, or they show up into your reality through the physical aspects of that reality. They could show up as a bird, or show up as a number, as a sign, as a tune, as a way the sun glistens on a leaf. They show up as these synchronicities to spark something within you. They want to spark movement in you because that movement is that of their greater vision. Their greater vision holds your life within it, and they can see what will motivate you to a certain state of being, or to a particular path in the road, area in the road that is for your highest and best. I'm seeing they're moving you around through these synchronicities. It's their way of like a game controller controlling you through the environment moving around you, which is really interesting. They use music a lot. They use sounds a lot, if you're clairaudient. But they have different signs and synchronicities for everyone. Everyone's higher self has very specific ways of communicating with them. In order to find your way, ask about it. Simply ask and call upon it more. Ask for communication. Ask for communication to arise. Ask for signs. Ask for synchronicities. Ask your higher self, hey, I am open to the best way for you to communicate with me. I am open to your highest ways of guidance. Please show me these signs. And then every time you get one of those signs, follow it. Follow it because your higher self is always guiding you into the highest, most optimal timeline. Your higher self is always there for you, wanting you to succeed, wanting you to be there at your best, wanting you to be on that most optimal timeline for yourself. The more you can open up to these synchronicities, the more it's like, I'm seeing like they have you like on a tether and they're pulling at the tether, and that tether is the form of communication. They're constantly doing this, whether you know it or not. And so the more you consciously ask and work with that tether and start to notice the synchronicities and signs that are specifically from your higher self, the greater that tether becomes, and the more it becomes a channel where they can just channel information to you. Now they want me to go into the energetics of it. Energetically, your higher self can show up as anything. However you perceive them to be is usually what they will show up as. So if you perceive them to be an angel, if you perceive them to be an angelic being of light, or if you perceive them to be a galactic being, this is what they will show up. Whatever your truth is what you will end up seeing. There are certain ways that you can be activated to see your higher self's truest form. But until those are activated, it will show up to you as the form that you are ready for. So your higher self may be over here as this thing. I'm going to use my example. Your higher self may be an Arcturian being, a galactic being, but your consciousness is only at the capacity to where you can see your higher self as a divine ray of white light above you. And so they aren't going to come in as that galactic being because you are not quite ready for that. You are not quite ready to see them as their full. It's not here in your psyche, like availability. But as you progress and you start to take in and come back into that cosmic knowing, back into that cosmic remembrance, that galactic DNA activating, they will be able to present themselves as what they truly are. And they're asking me to share my example. So when I first started, hearing about higher selves, getting into the spiritual stuff, I saw my higher self as like a beautiful white female with like a golden energy, golden crown. Like that's where my consciousness was at. And so I've seen my higher self that for years, and then I started to get more into the galactic side of things and come into my knowing of being a starseed and just being contacted by galactic beings, specifically Arcturian beings. And then I had a moment one day of seeing this woman, this Arcturian woman, or female, I haven't really asked, gender-wise, but it felt feminine, which is why I use the word woman. And she's been dancing around me a lot lately, like being with me a lot. And then she came in and, activated my third eye in a way. And I realized, like, who is this? Is this like my actual like higher, like what? And then she confirmed, and also the Akashic Records confirmed, that is my higher self. And I was like, wow, what? Which is why I wanted to make this video, because she brought through some really interesting information of how she is my Earth's higher self, because all of my Earth selves, all of my Earth timelines, or my Earth lives are through her. She's like the gatekeeper for all of those. She's the beginning fractal for all of my Earth beings, which is why she is the one that watches over me, which is why she's the one that I contact most, and have that higher self tether to, because she is the one that is most important for this Earth lifetime, because I stem from her. And she came to Earth. Well, actually, let me go ahead and ask this question. I had the question, why do they send us to Earth? Why do our higher selves send us to Earth? Only specific souls get sent to Earth. Earth is that of a testing ground. It's like a test tube planet, if you will. It's a testing ground and an experiment that the whole universe is watching. And only select souls that will benefit the experiment are sent to Earth. Your higher self has to be in a very specific role, a very specific agreement or contract in order for you to come to Earth. Know that if you are on Earth, it is of the highest, most importance for you, and that you came here and that you were very much so prepared to be here, especially if you are that of a starseed. If you are that of a human soul, it is also of highest importance that you are here, and your higher self will have different reasons. Same if you are another being, non-physical or physical, on the Earth. The higher selves always have different reasonings for bringing you into a specific planet. What would some of those reasonings be? Earth is a very particular school. Each incarnation holds lessons, but Earth has very particular opportunities for those lessons to come through. It has very particular agreements, and I'm seeing like books of knowledge, like very particular books of knowledge that only Earth has. And same with other planets. Only certain environments and certain situations hold the capacity for specific lessons, specific contracts, specific ways to move through karma or to move through releasing soul baggage. And that is why you came to Earth. There's also the other story of being a volunteer to come to Earth. Specifically, starseeds are volunteers. They were sought out by the Galactic Federation, or they volunteered to come here to be of service to humanity, to help humanity rise. And on the other side, if you are a nefarious being on Earth, it is also of your highest and best that you are here, which is why your higher self decided to bring you here. All beings have higher selves. All beings, no matter what, stem from something. And that something always stems and goes back to source, divine source. Everyone comes from it. And so these higher selves, these soul selves, have all been in situations and are all learning, are all working, are all trying to understand. And Earth has very specific things for that. If you are a starseed on Earth, you came here for a certain mission. You have a different set of roles, a different set of games that you will be playing while you are on Earth. If you are a human, you are becoming one of the most powerful races in the universe. Your higher self has been very particularly designed to have a life here, to learn from Earth, from being a human. Okay, cool. Okay, so they answered the pretty much like, how does our higher self interact with us? In what ways do they present themselves to us? How does the connection work between us? They touched on that. They touched on if we can communicate with them. It's a total yes. Through those signs and symbols, just simply ask the universe or your higher self. Both will get you to the same place. But you can ask your higher self, hey, I want to communicate with you more. I want to be more in tune with you. How can I do this? Please show me the signs. Please show me some symbols. I'm here for you. Open space, sit in silence. You have to be in a place of receiving in order to receive it. So open up those receptors, and you can do that through meditation, you can do that through yoga, you can do that through long walks, you can do that through just staring out in nature. But when you make this space, that is when they will be able to contact you. That's when the tether will be able to expand. And then why do they send us to Earth? We got that. What is a higher self? We got that. And then, can higher selves be aliens or angels? Let me see. Yeah, like what kind of, on Earth, what kind of higher selves do we have? Because mine is definitely an alien, extraterrestrial, but I'm sure other people's are angels, because there are angelic beings on the Earth, there are Pleiadians on the Earth, there are other, extraterrestrials, there are other nefarious beings on the Earth. So yeah. What can our higher selves be? Most of the higher selves that have beings, other selves on the Earth, are that of extraterrestrial origin. Rarely will you find an ascended master on the planet. Only few come through and can bring their vibration to a density of human form. This is why only few come through and have come through to Earth. And by, well, ascended master. So that's like, I believe that's like Jesus or like Buddha or one of those kind of beings, you know, that is an ascended master. So only few of them come in that form is what they're saying. A lot will have selves on the earth, but rarely are they able to come in their actual form. Let me see what it's kind of a confusing answer. Let's check in more. The higher selves are mostly that of other lifetimes on other planets. It is rare that new souls will find themselves on Earth at this time. New incarnations from Divine Source are not coming to this planet. It is mostly souls that have been around the universe for quite some time. You have to have a long history of lives and lessons of consciousness to come to Earth, for it is that experimental planet. Pretty much all souls that meet the requirements can end up having a self on Earth. So angels, galactic beings, even like elemental beings in the universe. But specifically on Earth right now, there are a lot of higher selves that are of angelic light, extraterrestrial origin, and souls that have lived similar lives to that of human origin, where they've been in the spirit realm for some time and then they incarnate as just a human, instead of going from like the spirit etheric realm to a Pleiadian and then to an earth self. They were showing that basically there are some that come from the etheric being right into Earth, and then there are others that take more steps. Not more steps, just a different way of coming. Let me see if they have anything else to say about that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask for a closing message, and here we go. Your higher selves are always willing to communicate with you. They are always here for you, and they want your highest and best. They have created a team for you that helps you in this lifetime. Know that you are never alone, and know that Earth right now needs you. Your higher self chose this or was chosen for this in divine timing. Know that your purpose here of holding high frequency is that of much importance. It is very needed on the planet, and know that you are doing your best just by being. Just by being, you are of abundance. Just by being, you are connected to your higher self. Just by being, you hold the frequencies that can shift the planet. Come into being, come into this present moment, and this is where you will connect with your higher self. Cool. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. There was some interesting stuff in there. I hope you found it really cool. I hope you found it interesting and it helps you out in some kind of way and it activates you. I will be doing another Ask the Akashic Records kind of video here soon, so stay tuned for that. And until then, you can find me on Instagram at Earth2Marissa, and have a beautiful, lovely day. It is October and it is gorgeous outside, so I hope you are able to enjoy the weather. Catch you later.